My dear beautiful souls, aligned to this great channel, PMC English channel, which is now giving you the wisdom from Harold Percival through his book, Thinking and Destiny. Just to recapitulate, I would like to call attention to our viewers on the experience that Percival has had in the year 1893 and twice during the next 14 years. Percival had the unique experience of being conscious of consciousness, a potent spiritual and noetic enlightenment. He stated, being conscious of consciousness reveals the unknown to the one who has been so conscious. Then it will be the duty of that one to make known what he can of being conscious of consciousness. So, what Percival has experienced and how he has revealed it in the book also makes us understand that the knowledge is not from him, it is derived by him from the astral masters. And that is very obvious when we read the next para, which Percival says in his book. Percival stated that the value of that experience was that it enabled him to know about any subject by a mental process he called real thinking. Because these experiences revealed more than was contained in theosophy, he wanted to write about them and share this knowledge with humanity. And that is how we have been fortunate enough to get this knowledge through his book. In the last episode, we were considering how the feeling and desire are important attributes to judge how we can make progress in our spirituality by proper application of our thinking process. Continuing further about feeling and desire, today we will examine what Percival has stated. In this episode, I am assisted by Poonima, who will be also giving her knowledge about the book and the contents of the book. A consideration of feeling and desire introduces one of the most important and far-reaching subjects put forth in this book. Its significance and value cannot be overestimated. The understanding and use of feeling and desire may mean the turning point in the progress of the individual and of humanity. It can liberate doers from false thinking, false beliefs, false goals by which they have kept themselves in darkness. It disproves a false belief that has long been blindly accepted. A belief that is now so deeply rooted in the thinking of human beings that apparently no one has thought of questioning it. Everybody has been taught to believe that the senses of the body are 5 in number and that feeling is one of the senses. The senses, as stated in this book, are units of nature, elemental beings, conscious as their functions but unintelligent. There are only 4 senses: sight, hearing, taste, and smell. And for each sense, there is a special organ. But there is no special organ for feeling, because feeling, though it feels through the body, is not of the body and not of nature. It is one of the 2 aspects of the doer. Animals also have feeling and desire, but animals are modifications from the human. The same must be said of desire, the other aspect of the doer. Feeling and desire must always be considered together, for they are inseparable. Neither can exist without the other. They are like the two poles of an electric current, the two sides of a coin. Therefore, this book makes the use of the compound term feeling and desire.
So friends, we will make note of some of the points given here by Mr. Percival. It's beautifully put once again. Every part of this book really makes us get more and more knowledge. I'm really surprised and really happy to get more knowledge from this. So the points we got from this para are, he says as I had told you in the previous episode, here I would like to tell again that senses are only 4 in number, and feeling and desire is part of the doer. That is the most important point which we should make note of. And they are inseparable, and it is compared to two parts of the coin. See, it's inseparable. And also that there are so many other things like feeling doesn't have a special organ, as there are organs for other senses. Feeling doesn't have, nor does desire. It is part of the doer. So these are some of the points which I got. And animals also have feeling and desire. That's one other point. But animals are modification from the humans. Actually, we also have been animals, and then we have progressed to become humans. That's what other masters have taught us. So, but animals are modifications, is what Percival says here.
Feeling and desire of the doer is the intelligent power by which nature and the senses are moved. It is within the creative energy that is everywhere present. Without it, all life would cease. Feeling and desire is the beginningless and endless creative art by which all things are perceived, conceived, formed, and brought forth and controlled, whether through the agency of doers in the human bodies, or of those who are of the government of the world, or of the great intelligences. Feeling and desire is within all intelligent activity. In the human body, feeling and desire is the conscious power which operates this individual nature machine. Not one of the four senses feels. Feeling, the passive aspect of the doer, is that in the body which feels the body and feels the impressions that are transmitted to the body by the four senses as sensations. Further, it can, in varying degrees, perceive supersensory impressions such as a mood, an atmosphere, a premonition. It can feel what is right and what is wrong, and it can feel the warnings of conscience. Desire, the active aspect, is the conscious power that moves the body in the accomplishment of the doer's purpose. The doer functions simultaneously in both its aspects. Thus, every desire arises from a feeling, and every feeling gives rise to a desire. You will be taking an important step on the way to knowledge of the conscious self in the body when you think of yourself as the intelligent feeling present through your voluntary nervous system as distinct from the body which you feel, and simultaneously as the conscious power of desire surging through your blood, yet which is not the blood. Feeling and desire should synthesize the four senses. An understanding of the place and the function of feeling and desire is the point of departure from the beliefs which for many ages have caused the doers in human beings to think of themselves as mortals. The book shows that the thoughts are real, real things, real beings. The only real things which man creates are his thoughts. The book shows the mental processes by which thoughts are created and that many thoughts are more lasting than the body or the brain through which they are created. It shows that the thoughts man thinks are the potentials, the blueprints, the designs, the models from which he builds out the tangible material things with which he has changed the face of nature and made what is called his way of living and his civilization. Thoughts are the ideas or forms out of which and upon which civilizations are built and maintained and destroyed too. This book explains how the unseen thoughts of man exteriorize as the acts and objects and events of his individual and collective life, creating his destiny through life after life on earth. But it also shows how man can learn to think without creating thoughts and thus control his destiny. So, Percival has once again reiterated and made us understand that thoughts should be sublime, should be pure, in order to have a better destiny, a greater destiny, which we always look for. A mind does not function independently of the doer. The functioning of each of these three minds is dependent upon the embodied feeling and desire of the doer. The body mind is that which is commonly spoken of as the mind or the intellect. It is the functioning of feeling and desire as the mover of physical nature, as the operator of the machine, of the human body machine, and hence is here called the body mind. The feeling mind and the desire mind are the functioning of feeling and of desire, irrespective of or in connection with the physical world. So he said these two minds are almost completely submerged in and controlled and subordinated by the body mind. Therefore, practically all human thinking has been made to conform to the thinking of the body mind, which ties the doer to nature and prevents its thinking of itself as something distinct from the body. The book shows that the living soul is an actual and literal fact. It shows that its purpose and its functioning are of great importance in the universal plan and that it is indestructible. It is explained that which has been called the soul is a nature unit, an elemental, a unit of an element, and that this conscious but unintelligent activity is the farthest advanced of all the nature units in the makeup of the body. It is the senior elemental unit in the body organization, having progressed to that function after a long apprenticeship in the myriad lesser functions of the comprising nature. Being thus the sum of all of nature's laws, this unit is qualified to act as the automatic general manager of nature in the human body mechanism. As such, it serves the immortal doer through all its re-existences by periodically building a new fleshly body for the doer to come into and maintaining and repairing that body for as long as the destiny of the doer may require, as determined by the doer's thinking. This unit is termed the breath form. The active aspect of the breath form is the breath.
Friends, here we have to take a few points into consideration, and I think we should remember all these points. Let us start with feeling and desire also. Here he says that feeling and desire of the doer is the intelligent power by which nature and the senses are moved. That is, he says it is within us. It is within the creative energy that is everywhere present. Without it, all life would cease. That is, every part of us or everything that we see or we come in contact with has that part of feeling and desire. Feeling and desire is a beginningless and endless creative art by which all things are perceived, conceived, formed, brought forth and controlled, whether through the agency of doers. That is, he says there is something more to the doers, that is, there is an agency of the doers in human bodies, or of those who are of the government of the world. That is, even in the formation of or the government that is ruling all this or controlling all this, even in that feeling and desire is present. That is what he says here. And of the great intelligences, they also have that part, the feeling and desire. And so the last sentence sums it all, that is, feeling and desire is within all intelligent activity. So intelligent activity meaning, he says that that intelligence, the supreme intelligence, is within all the parts of whatever you are seeing, has that intelligence. And so feeling and desire is present wherever you find life. So there is that energy. So wherever we find energy, whether you in science they say living and non-living, actually it is not at all true. Everything here has energy. So everything is living according to spiritual science. So everything has feeling and desire. That's what we can infer from this. And moving on to the other paragraphs. So feeling and desire should synthesize the four senses. An understanding of the place and function of feeling and desire is the point of departure from the beliefs which for many ages have caused the doers and human beings to think of themselves merely as mortals. This is very important, friends. So what happens is, we have been programmed to think that we are merely physical bodies. So we don't stop when we have a feeling or a desire, we don't stop to think. And he says, when you apply your thinking and when you feel according to your thinking, then your feeling and desire changes. And that is what he says here. So what happens is, our thinking that we are merely physical body completely changes, and we will get to know our true self, that is, we are the Atmans, or we are that supreme soul, that great eternal energy. So energy, wisdom and knowledge entity. So we will get to know that as we progress on to giving a thought whenever we have a feeling or a desire. And here we can also understand and infer that with this understanding of feeling and desire in the human, so here it is there, like he says that the doer functions simultaneously in both its aspects. So feeling is also there and desire is also there. This every desire arises from a feeling, and every feeling gives rise to a desire. This is how they are inseparable, as I had told you in the previous paragraph. So it is like that, and the rest of the paragraphs which he has read, we can get more knowledge, and we can make it clear to ourselves that the living soul is an actual and literal fact. So that we have to understand the living soul. Living soul, as in Patriji has made it still clear, made it very clear to us by saying that we are nothing but the energy, consciousness and wisdom entity. So that is nothing but the soul. And it has been, it is also, he says that it is a nature unit, an elemental unit of element, and that this conscious but unintelligent entity is the furthest advanced, it is the most advanced part of ourselves. So that is what he has mentioned here. And he goes on to saying that this unit is qualified to act as the automatic general manager. So here we can take that it is a general manager of ourselves. So basically we have to be aware and conscious to hear what our soul is telling every moment. We have to be conscious of that, and that comes again in the form of a thought only, but we have to be aware to note that it is coming from our energy, consciousness, wisdom part rather than the mind. So we have to be able to differentiate that and move on. So then what happens is, we'll be in alignment with our conscience. So whatever we do will be absolutely right in terms of spiritual science and in terms of the righteousness that he has also mentioned in previous paragraphs. So another thing he has mentioned is see, this unit is qualified to act as automatic general manager of nature in the human body mechanism. As such, it serves the immortal doer through all its re-existences. Existences meaning our past lives, like we have been taking life after life and periodically building new fleshly body. It has been part of building new fleshly bodies. We stop there. In other books they've clearly mentioned how we choose our parents, how we choose our body, what are the deformities we should have, or whether we should have a healthy body. Everything is, we have actually chosen in the other worlds. Like when we, after our death, we go on to the other worlds and we make all the choices there. So that's what he has mentioned here. And maintaining and repairing the body when in through these physical life also, this soul has been the most important thing. It has been doing everything for us, and the destiny is thereby created by doers thinking, whereas our thinking is sometimes not up to the mark, not according to spiritual science. We don't maintain always a positive or miraculous thinking, because that is what changes our destiny completely. That is what he's coming to tell us all. So that is the point we have to remember. So keep your awareness at the highest level, and keep your thoughts absolutely positive and miraculous. And then this unit is also, again he's telling about, this unit is also termed as the breath form. So this unit, meaning the earlier we saw that this is nothing but the soul, but he is also mentioning this as the breath form. So the active aspect of breath form is the breath. So when we breathe, our thought should be in alignment with our breath. Remember friends, because here what happens is, when we have a calm state and our breath is in alignment with our thought, that will be the best possible thought we will have. So he has mentioned all about that. The breath is the life, the spirit of the body. It permeates the entire structure. So such a beautiful meditation we have got, the Anapanasati way of meditation. So that will make us more aware. Even during the other states, waking states, we will be aware of our breath, and our thoughts will be so much in alignment with the breath form. So that way we can change our destiny. That's what Percival has put here, and he has also given the technical aspect of the breath form, how it works and everything. So beautifully put. So let us remember all these points, whatever I have mentioned to you from these paragraphs.
This unit is termed the breath form, and the active aspect of the breath form is the breath. The breath is the life, the spirit of the body. It permeates the entire structure. The other aspect of the breath form, the passive aspect, is the form or model, the pattern, the mold according to which the physical structure is built out into visible, tangible existence by the action of the breath. Thus, the two aspects of the breath form represent life and form by which structure exists. So, the statement that man consists of body, soul, and spirit can readily be understood as meaning that the physical body is composed of gross matter, that the spirit is the life of the body, the living breath, the breath of life, and that the soul is the inner form, the imperishable model of the visible structure, and thus that the living soul is the perpetual breath form which shapes, maintains, repairs, and rebuilds the fleshly body of man.
So wonderfully put by Master Percival. It's so beautifully said, so very clear. Now, as I reread, I got really so very, surprising. And the breath form is nothing but the soul, he says. So, as and when we meditate, we are with our soul. So, that is what we can find. And the living soul is the perpetual breath form which shapes, maintains, repairs, and rebuilds the fleshly body of man. So, as when we are aware, when we are conscious of our breath, everything happens and everything gets repaired, and maintenance is happening, and also rebuilding the physical body, because there is a lot of wear and tear happening during the material life. This body gets lot of either we are in disease, or we get hurt, or we all the health is brought back with just by being with our breath form. And breath form is nothing but our soul, friends.
So in the later episodes, we'll be having exclusive sessions completely on breath form and how it is so very important that we regulate it for our own benefit. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.